Say just pull up on it.
I heard that. You were talking, I thought you'd already started.
I don't know. Weird.
Oh.
Let's see where I don't know what the difference is, but I'm gonna put it on there. See what we got here.
Ryan sent me a text 3 minutes ago. I don't know what it is he worked on. I don't know, his buddy's car running.
All right, let's see what we got here.
Looks like he had Papa John's pizza.
Might only just be you and me, Mike. Like the whole weekend. Jane, hello, how you doing? See, Jane said, hey, Mike. He's lurking over here in the background.
Trying to eat up the Halloween candy. I'll be here for days, weeks, probably.
Probably some for next year. Let's see, good. Got burgers on the grill. Well, we did cook burgers. We got a couple extra left over. Got a couple wings left over. Good hamburgers and hot dogs. Beth made some macaroni and cheese. Well, it didn't go quite the way we wanted it to, but there were some good people here. We sat around and had a good day. Let's see. Mike said, hi, Jane. Let's see. HM says, are you in jail? Nope, not in jail. Lotus said, hello, Lotus. Hope you're doing well tonight. James said, hey, Lotus. Lotus said, tired. I understand that. I ain't done much today, so I ain't really tired. Lotus said, hey, Jane. Mike said, hey, hi, Lotus. Jane said, did you work today? Let's see. Lotus says, another work day. Gray says, I missed your Halloween extravaganza. I did see Randy's burnout. That was cool. Yeah, that was fun. That was the first time he's been behind the wheel since he got hit by that tree. So it made him feel better, that's for sure. Jade said, hi, Craig. He's still going to have to stay in the chair for at least 3 more weeks, but they said he can drive if he can figure that part out. Craig said, hi. Boggy says, yo. How you doing, Boggy? Jane says, hey, Boggy. Is that Reem? Says, howdy there. Let's see. Let me see if I can translate it. I am on the computer today. Let's see if it will let me. Nope, that's Ali. Allah. Howdy there, how you doing? I'm glad you stopped back by. Boggy says, I'm okay. Lotus said, what's up, Boggy? Jane said, hi, Reem. It wasn't Reem. I thought it was. I didn't get it translated fast enough. Mike said, hi, Craig. What part of Mississippi? Lotus said, feeling better. Buggy says, yo, Lotus. Ally says, it's Ally. Ally, how you say that? L-I-A-L-I.
Ally?
Ally.
I don't know.
I'm probably saying it wrong. I apologize, but I did translate it and see that it was not who I thought it was. Sorry. Carlos said, what's up, y'all, Pops? Whoop, whoop. Buggy says, hell no. I guess that means, are you feeling better? Nope. Grace says, no weight bearing at all. That's right. It's not the bone now. They said the bone's healing good. It's the tendons. They want to give the tendons time to heal before they don't want that to mess up. Jane says, hi, Carlo, and hey, all. Carlo says, hey, Jane. Ally says, hello there, Jane. Mike said, Carlo. Grace says, not in Mississippi. Okay. Rumple says, hello, Pops. Hello, Rumple. Carlo said, what's up, Lotus? Rumple says, Long Ranch, hello. Long Ranch says, hi. Okay, Craig. Jane says, hi, Rumple. Lotus says, what's up, Carlo? Rumple says, Jane, hello. Waving, hut. Carlo said, what's up, Long? Long said, Rumple. Buggy says, blew a fuse on the Shelby today. Oh, no. That's not good. I said I wasn't going to do a lot today. Mike and I did work on the lift, got it to motor to working, but I think I got to prime it. It's not lifting up yet, so still got some more work to do, but I didn't want to spend the day messing with it. So anyway, well, I'll figure it out later. Rumple said, trunk and treat all done? Yep, it's all done. What we got here? Buggy says, she be all right, Pops. Carlo, member for 2 months, silly little YouTube channel, 2 months, an NDP member, and a member for life. Oh, awesome.
I guess his anniversary date was today.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Carlo. Grace said, well, I'm not from Mississippi. Well, we just assumed it with the name, sorry.
You tricked me.
Yeah.
I was gonna go through Mississippi, I just was curious. So.
11 people, 4 thumbs up. Come on, y'all. Hit that lucky thingy for me. Lotus said, at least you didn't blow a head gasket. Yeah, that's fuse is a little cheaper. Boggy said, that be true? Rumple said, who's that, Pop? Doesn't sound like Randy Jr. No, that's Mike with Long Ranch Garage over there. Boggy said, fuse is free, Pops. What are you talking about? Yeah, there you go. Carlos said, Boggy, Jesus said, hey, hello, Jesus. I hope you're doing well today. A lot of positive thinking. They said, Lotus said, is she making you buy $30,000 worth of spicy Doritos Boggy? Rumble says, hello again, Mike. Jesus said, wish I was here before. Hey, it's good. Don't worry about it. I do appreciate it. We know when it's everybody can't be everywhere all the time, so we understand. Believe me. Craig says, you all ever been to Calabash at the beach down there around Charlotte? Jesus said, dang, I missed the membership. Buggy said, it was about to be God knows how much for a 300ZX. Lotus said, member for 3 months. Bobo Barnout. Thank you, Lotus. Appreciate it. Mrs. Craig says, yes, at the beach. Yes, I know where Calabash is at. My parents lived down there for, well, my mom passed away 2 years ago, but they lived down there right there off of 904. You know where Napa is, or was. I assume it's still there. There's a little development right behind Napa. right there in Calabash. They live back in there. Let's see, Lotus said 60,000 or better. Jesus says, how are you doing? I'm doing absolutely phenomenal. I appreciate it, and I hope you are. Jesus says, I am. That is awesome. I'm glad to hear. Craig said, great seafood, or there used to be. I haven't been there in years, but I do know that Mom and them, before Mom passed away, they had a house there. It'd been there for, I don't know, 20 some years, but they bought a farm and they'd moved to the farm. And that's, I don't really know how to tell you to get to it, but now my daddy's moved back here, and my sister's trying to sell the farm now, I think. Last I checked, she was. So, but yeah, they lived down there for years. Mike said, hi, Jesus. Jesus says, hey, Lone. Let's see. Lotus said, I guess doing FX sales is better than spending 60,000 plus. You can Bridgeport it while it's apart. He must have stopped and got gas if he stopped somewhere 13 miles away. Let's see, Boggy said, yeah, lucky me. Lotus says, rotary stuff, Pops. Yeah, I kind of figured when they sent the picture of the RX-7, that's a little more than I want to put for a toy. But it was a pretty car. I assume what you're saying there, that's why you needed a trailer. Lotus said, bra, 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 bra. Or is it brat, 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 brat? That's something I've never drove. I've never drove a RX-7 with the rotary engine in it. I'd like to do that. See, Carlos says, I like the Mazda RX-3. I don't know what that is. I can't think of what that vehicle is right now. See, Lotus says, they rev forever. Yeah. Well, looky there. Somebody that was not their last live yesterday. Let's see. Maria says, I think you should change the lights. It's getting pretty dark here. I know, right? I can't stand that mess. Hello, Maria. Jesus said, how did the appreciation thing go? We had a couple people show up, but it seemed like bad luck hit everywhere. So Mike and Beth and my kids, they came in and, well, Stephen didn't, but Justin's girlfriend, we just enjoyed. Yeah, Tinker came yesterday. We just enjoyed the day. That's all. Mike and I did work a little bit on the lift this morning, but not very long. We just was going to do a day of relaxing, enjoying life a little bit. Lotus said, hey, Maria, buddy said, hell, RX-7 make for good burnout cars and drift. You drifter? Yes, I think they do. Carlos says, hello, Maria. Mike says, hi, Maria. Boggy said, and it's clean. Maria says, I'm feeling really dizzy right now. Today was exhausting. Oh, no. Shouldn't overdo it. What did you do to me be so over-exhausted? Lucas said, how long as you don't mind doing Apex seals every other run. As long as you don't, I got it now. Lotus says, I didn't get the pick of it. Jesus says, okay. Lotus says, tell her to go drift the general. Jane said, how many showed up for the trick or treat yesterday? None. Jane said, hi, Maria. Jane said, hi, Jordan. Boggy says, I'm not modding that car anytime soon. Dennis said, good evening, everyone. I went fishing for a bit today. Awesome, Dennis. Jesus said, hey, Jane. Jane said, hi, Dennis. Dennis says, Jane, wave, hey. Dennis said, Mike. Lois said, famous last words. Maria said, how was today? There was some good people here, Maria. We enjoyed it. Jane said, you couldn't flag anyone off that busy road. We had to sign up out there, and the cars out there, and the doors open until it got chilly. But Pug come yesterday, and we sat around here and we talked and chatted. A couple people across the road, they came over for a little while and chatted. But it is what it is. We're kind of behind the eight ball on advertising and everything, the way it all went down. But to be honest with you, we enjoyed ourselves, so it's all good. Let's see, I don't really know what that is supposed to be. Is that supposed to be Gator's garage?
Well, Algiers Garage. I sent him a link.
Oh, okay. Algiers.
I'm off of it right at the moment, so I can't.
Anyway, says
Rick.
Rick. Well, hello, Rick. I'm here. He said. Lotus said, looks good. Buggy says, don't jinx me, Lotus. James says, hi, everyone. Hello, Jake. I sure would give out. Lotus says, you would be disappointed with the factory power and it won't wrap till ported. Maria said, is that Pepsi? Yes. Let's see. Gears Garage says, how's it going? It's going good. And how about for you? Let's see. Let's go to the channel here. I don't recall seeing that. No, but Thunderbird Ford truck, nice log cabin. I tell you what. I don't know what that. I'm not. I'm gonna subscribe. I like what you got. Give you the sub there, All Gears Garage. I hope I'm saying it right. Let's see.
And he just had a video go out. They got like 10,000 views.
Oh, really?
Yes. He just made it. He just got over 500, so he get a milestone.
Cool. I'll just give you another one. Sorry, I haven't. If I would have known it, I'd give you one to help you out. But it's going great. Mike said, welcome, Rick. Dennis said, how's Mike doing? Doing good. He has worked his butt off all week. If he wanted this to be a vacation, it wasn't, because he has worked his butt off. A workcation. But he.
That's all right. I enjoyed myself.
We had fun. We did. We laughed, cut up, had some blood, sweat, and tears. But yeah, we made it through the week and had a good time. Mike said, good evening out in the morning. Oh, going to leave out in the morning. See, Rick said, I thought you had sent me a link to actually get on the video. See, Rick says, I learned something new. Buggy said, already disappointed, Lotus. Rick says, I'm not wearing glasses. The light is not helping. I think I'm going to be blind. That's not good, Maria. You need to put your glasses on so it don't hurt your eyes. Buggy says, also, Pops, I'm sorry I had to turn sound off. Noise is killing me. I understand, Buggy. I think you had migraine. I do understand. I really do. I've had them.
Tell him it's weather.
Weather, yeah. The weather. Matter of fact, Mike and I was talking about it. I saw something about all the planets and everything's atmosphere is supposed to line up just right, and a lot of people are supposed to have migraines and stuff because of that. Maria said, no, I don't like wearing them. I don't need them, Maria, but if I don't wear them and try to read, it gives me a headache. And Maria, it's not good not to wear your glasses and have headaches. You really need to take care of yourself a little better than that. You of all people should know you should need to take care of yourself. Lotus said, hey, soon you will have all the Fast and the Furious cars. Rick said, it's been a long, hard struggle, but yes, the one video is over 10,000 and climbing. The second part of that video is getting monetized slowly. Well, that's cool. I wish one of ours would go good like that, but in due time, maybe something will if we can get back on our regular stuff and quit messing around with all this other. We really need Randy to get out of that chair first. Foggy says, nope, not buying an Evo. Rick says, you can't imagine how much you appreciate everything is done so far for us. Jay said, Pops, Mike doesn't have to go back to work next week. No, he's got plans. He's going to do a little bit of driving all week. He's got some
I'm retired.
He's retired.
I don't work.
He's retired. He don't work. And I think they're going to take a little time and drive just, a couple 100 miles a day and head back home, kind of the long way, I believe. Lotus says, why no Evo? I'll take an Evo. Ray said, yes, thanks, wise Randy. You should take care of yourself first and stop drinking sugary drinks all the time. Well,
wear your glasses.
I'm so old, Maria. It's too late for me. You're so young. You need to take care of yourself so you don't get in the same position I'm in when I get older. You get older. Lotus says, sugary drinks keeps us alive. That's right. Tell her, Lotus. I'm so mad I can't. Beth said, his poor wife works, though. I'm trying to get her to go ahead and retire, but he tries to overtalk me when I tell her to. Rick said, it's only because they like me. Let's see, that something just happened. Oh, he retracted the message. Oh, I was going to say I was reading and something that the whole thing moved. Buggy says, I like them, just not my drive, though. Jane said, oh, right, so don't feel sorry for working Mike so hard this week. Well, I don't expect nobody to come down here and work. I mean, I'm going to tell you. All right, sorry, B. We had a good time. Pape said, how's your night going? It's going good. I hope it is for you. Jane said, oh, man, sorry, Beth. Dang. Maria said, it's never too late. And Maria, you should take care of yourself at a young age. Jane said, hi, Jason. Y'all ever see those cups that's got water filled on the outside of it? And well, that's what I did with this one. This is really not drink. There's water inside of it. That's all inside the cup. I'm just drinking water. I'm lying. I can't lie to y'all. Lotus said, sends big block money from Tokyo Drift. Lotus said, liar. Lotus called me out on it. Like he said, you also have to think I owned only one Japanese sports car, Lotus. Jesus said, lol. Daryl said, loose loss. Let's see, Lotus says, you need more. Daryl said, just walked in. All right, Daryl, appreciate it. Buggy says, now that money is something I want. Buggy says, I can't find it. Jane says, hi, Daryl. Maria says, I know people who die because of drinking those stuff, but I haven't seen anyone die because they didn't wear their glasses while watching Randy's live. I've seen plenty of people die because they didn't have the glasses on and run a stop sign and got killed. And man, there's a lot of people just boom, that's it. Mike said, smash that like button, please. Lotus said, seems Molly was badass and one of the fastest cars on the show in real life. Riz says, so don't worry, I won't die. Well, I hope not. I don't plan on it. Daryl said, Jane, Long, Buggy, and Lotus. Buggy says, hey, Mac. Lotus says, hey, Daryl. Hello. How you doing? Nah, I do. I was going to send you a text, man. No, don't worry about it. Mike and I sitting there on live. We've done shut everything down. Yeah, yeah. We just you go ahead and enjoy yourself. And I was going to send you a message and tell you not to worry about it, but I didn't want you to think I was being a butt. You got my. Hey, I do understand. Don't you worry about us. We're good. You too. Thank you. All right. Let me see where I got a little behind there.
It was George.
Hold on a minute. I'll tell you. It's can't remember the name right now. I have to look at it. Just let's see. Drake said, hello, what's up? Hello, Drake. Pakistan viewer is here. All right. Daryl said, pond weed monster, huh? Pond weed, huh? Long said, hi, Mac. You're able to get the building secure. Jesus says, already did. Lord, Maria said, you forgot one thing. I don't drive, luckily for now. Hugh said, hello, Randy. Hello, Maria. Daryl said, it is secure and working to clean all the soot up from the fire. Buggy said, Olivia's doing, Daryl. Maria said, hi, Hugh. Let's see, I'm going to skip down here. Where's Olivia? Lotus said, Maria, when you getting a race car to drive every day? And Hugh's speaking to a couple people, Jordan, Mike, Daryl, Drake, Jesus, I believe. Jesus says, hey, Grandpa, how are you? Hugh says, hi, Lotus. Daryl says, hours in. Maria says, race car? I'm in Iraq now, L.A., Lotus. Lotus. Hugh said, hello, Boggy. Boggy said, she is at doctor's appointment. Don't worry, it is a regular checkup. It was scheduled. This is why, I don't know why it's so late, though. You said, hello, Jamie. Said, we definitely have race cars, but don't think I'm going to have them. Lotus says, what, you can't have race car in Iraq?
I was getting ready to ask her.
Hugh says, hello, Dad. Hello, Beth. Jane says, hi, Dragon. Carlos says, what, Hugh? Jane says, hi, Hugh. Hugh says, hello, big boys. Daryl said, big. Lotus and Maria, if you believe hard enough, you can drive a race car. Hugh says, I'm good. How are you, brother? Carlos says, Max, up. Whoop. Lotus said, what up, Hugh? Drake said, Pops, any advice on how not to have regrets in life? You're always going to have some type of regret, but I'm going to tell you right now, if you would do what makes you happy, don't worry about don't be an ass to everybody, but make yourself happy. You really can't make nobody else happy till you're happy. Don't go through, if you want to do something, find a way to do it. Just make yourself happy. That's what I'll say more than anything. Boggy says, shh, don't tell Olivia I ordered Domino's. Hugh said, hello, Justin. Maria says, no, you can't, but what I'm going to do with a race car, most of the men who have race cars here are young men with weird obsessions with cars. Justin, I don't think's in here. This is Mike. Mike's over here. Justin's already left and went home. Let's see. Lotus says, make them jelly while getting, I believe it's supposed to be, make them jealous while getting to school 20 minutes early every day. What did you say his name was? Ken?
Huh?
Ken was his name.
Rick. Rick.
I don't know what I'm thinking.
Oh,
Rick,
yeah.
sorry about that. I'll remember it. Rick said, Hal, have a race car and I'm not young. Well, let's see, Mike said, well, we call ours race cars, they burnouts, but I have taken them down the drag strip. I'm not young either. Mike said, Drake, that's a pretty cool, big task. Boggy says, yo, you, how are you, brother? Maria says, if I have Olivia's number, I'll call her right now, Boggy. Hugh says, I'm good, Boggy. How are you, brother? Boggy said, why? You said, oh, okay. Six says, hi, hello. Let's see. Hugh says, hello, Slick. Boggy says, Hugh, I feel like dog crap dipped in the used car oil and then set on fire. Hugh says, I have Olivia's number. Lotus says, I have Olivia's number. Maria says, do you know I was asleep and woke up all of a sudden and come into the, yeah. What are you going to do when you're in college and you wake up in the middle of the night and you're not able to come into the live? You're not going to be able to sleep right. You said, dang, sorry, Buggy. Jesus said, how are you, Hugh? Maria says, if you have a race car, you are young inside. Well, I'm young inside. I'll be that way all my life, I hope. I hope it's longer than you anticipate. Buggy says, not your fault, brother. You said, good, brother. How are you? Lotus said, that's right. We young at heart. That's right. I've seen what growing up is. I don't want to be no part of it. Buggy says, does this mean I'm really young because I have a few? Yeah, that's what it means. You said, yeah, but I don't like people to feel sick or hurt. Nope, that's not good. Mike said, Boggy, you will be okay as long as there is no chicken feathers involved. She said, good, I'm decent here. Rumple said, Hugh, hello. Maria said, nah, in college I won't be here. I shouldn't be here now either. I have work in the morning. What kind of work you do? Michelle says, hello, good evening. How you doing, Michelle? Hugh says, yeah, I don't want no part of being grown up either. I roll on the ground, roll on the floor, laugh my ass off. Lotus said, race cars cure depression. That's right. Daryl said, Rumple. Hugh said, hello, Michelle. Mike said, hello, Michelle. Hugh says, hello, Rumple. Rumple says, Metal Arts, hello. Carlos says, Hugh, can you and Grandma say a prayer for me? I'm going mental health, please. Going for me for good mental health, please. Well, I'll say a prayer for you, Carlo. Lotus says, then they cause depression when they break. Amen. Rick said, what makes that makes two of us. Boggy says, hey, Mike, they're using chicken feathers to keep the fire lit. Pape said, it was fun watching your family and friends for Halloween last night. Well, I appreciate it. You said, sure will, Carlo. Michelle said, getting ready to bring kids roller skating. All right. Grandma says, hi, Pops. Hello, Grandma. Carlos says, Hugh. Hugh says, Michelle. Grandma says, hi, Mike. Michelle says, all in the chat, waving. Rumble says, hello, Grandma, hello. Grandma says, hi, Buggy. Hugh says, hello, Lovey. Maria says, not paid work. I have to go to finish college documents. Oh, okay. Grandma says, hi, Lotus. Buggy says, what do you mean by that? It causes me joy when my cars break. I get to redo my favorite projects when they break or weak. Woo! I don't enjoy it that much. Not working on them. Rumple says, Michelle, hello. Grandma says, hi, big boys. Carlos says, yo, you pups. Grandma says, hi, babe. Mike says, GMA. Carlos says, hello, Grandma, sweetheart. Lotus says, give me 10 more years, Buggy. Grandma says, hi, Michelle. Maria says, if I fall asleep, I'll fall asleep any moment. Okay, if you do, we do understand. Grandma says, hi, Maria. Maria says, hi, Grandma. Michelle says, grandson won his football game, so we are in the playoffs for the championship. That is awesome. Tell him we are so proud of him. You said, right, Boggy, it's fun working on your cars until you have cause y'all gotta get work.
We need to put a pin in for Rick.
Yes.
Or Pennsylvania somewhere.
Rick, if you don't mind, where are you from so I can put a pin in the world map for you? Let's see, Rick says, yeah, they do cure depression. That's what I learned a long time ago. You can take out the race car, but you'll never take the race car out of us. Amen. Lotus said, hi there. Maria says, I have a wonderful idea. What's that, Maria? Lotus says, well, we like it. Hi, the all, says Grandma. Jane says, hello, Grandma. Boggy says, Lotus, I'll give it like 17 years and it'll be catching anytime soon. Mike said, that's right, Rick. Never grow up. Grandma said, hi, Jane. Daryl said, GMA. Hugh says, never grow up. Grandma says, hi, Mike. Lotus, you still young and the body doesn't ache yet. Amen. Carla said, I'm going to have a bacon and egg sandwich for breakfast. Awesome. Let's see. Maria said, how about quit college and work in Randy's shop? That seems good for me. Ooh, that would, if we were making money, it'd be good, but you really need that education. Grandma says, hat, Mike, hi. You says, nice, Carlo. Lotus said, it's still fun, just harder to do. Grandma said, good. Boggy, oh, my body aches, all right. Carlos says, yo, Hugh. Let's see, Buggy says, hey, man. Lotus says, Lowell, do you work for Crackers and Pepsi, Maria? That's what Randy pays. Jesus said, who's behind you? That's Mike on Lone Wrench Garage. See, Grandma says, hi, 56, Drums, PA, DRUMS, Pennsylvania. Is where
Is that northeast?
Is that northeast, Rick? You said that's Mike, Lone Wrench Garage. You says, hey Grandma. Maria says, and don't worry about the money and the payment. One Pepsi is good for me. Look at there, Maria ready to work for Pepsi's. Lotus says she already smarter than us. How much more education does she need to swap tires? I know, right? Maria said, or ice cream. Look at that.
There's been no ice cream eaten since I've been here for a week.
Maria says, but if I drink Pepsi every day, I'm going to gain weight. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of weight on somebody. Mike don't know it, but I've been eating ice cream. He just hadn't seen me.
Yeah, okay. You know when I go to bed, I guess. Oh, I gotta mind my business now.
Huh?
I said, I gotta mind my business now.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody's creeping.
Let's see, where am I at? Let's see, Maria said, or ice cream. Maria said, yeah, wait, let's see. Grandma said, hi, Beth. Maria says, yes, I agree. Matthew said, hi. Maria says, you liar. What? Rick says, I gained 2 subs since I've been on here. Awesome. Cool. See? I give you 1. I know that.
Every night, Rick. Every night.
Every night at 6 p.m. we go live. Carlos said, Lotus, I hope D goes live tonight. Hugh says, hello, Matthew. Daryl says, Matt. Lotus says, he might. Maria says, I hope Mike has better geographic information. I hope he does too. He ain't going to take much to be better than me.
I got him in the right place.
He got it, see? Grandma says, hey, hi, Matthew. Rick says, where the 80s and 81 interstate cross each other. We're 80 and 81.
I was close to 80. So.
He got it. Thank you. Matthew said, hi, Daryl. Pape said it's 90% of people can't even read a tape measure on the 16th. You exactly right. And I'm not even going to tell you my trick. That's the reason I like the metric system better. 1's 1, 2's 2, 3's 3. I like that a lot better. Rick said, I already had my quart of ice cream beaten to it. If you like ice cream, you're in the right live for sure. Lotus said, I missed all lives yesterday handing out candy. Let's see. Matthew said, "How you doing today, Daryl?" Hugh says, "Most people can't read it to the quarter." That is true too. Buggy said, "Lotus, what kind of sports can you think Maria would enjoy?" Matthew said, "Hi, Grandma." Grandma said, "Peeps, come on, hit that like button and tap your screen twice. Thank you." Matthew says, "Hi, Gran." Daryl said, "I'm doing good, bud." Jesus said, "Lol." Rick said, "Mike, I need to talk to you later about something we're working on for the month of the next year, waiting you to attend and a few others if possible. Wanted you to attend and a few others if possible." Lotus says, I don't know, Buggy, I think Maria a BMW girl. I think I read that wrong just a minute ago. You were asking about what kind of car. I think, hey, Lotus, that's a pretty good call. I think, never met her or anything, but I think BMW would be a good car. Buggy says, sorry, Grandma, I generally forgot to hit the like button. Hugh said, I did home improvement for 7 years. That's how I learned to read a tape measure. Carlos said, oh, that sucks, Lotus. But hey, at least you did something good for the kids. Mike said, okay, Rick. Buggy said, Maria, is that true? You a BMW girl? He's probably going to ask you what a BMW is. Lotus says, I have fun doing it. Buggy says, yo, Lotus, do you know what BMW stands for? Rick said, vanilla peanut butter. Grandma said, you feeling any better, Buggy? Where's Olivia? Buggy said, oh, I turned up sound so I can hear you, Pops. Okay. Rick says, I don't know nothing about race cars or cars in general. Matthew said, that's good. Daryl has insurance come in yet? Has insurance come in yet? Lotus says, Barvano Motor Works. I don't know how that, I'm sure I pronounced that wrong, but Maria says, I know cars have wheels and seats. That's all. You better learn the seatbelt, that's for sure. Like you said, Grandma, I feel like dog crap died and used AR set me on fire. Mike said, vanilla PB sounds good with peanut butter. Daryl said, hopefully they come this week. Buggy says, and she is at a regular checkup. Lotus says, BMW is race cars with class. Daryl said, hey, had to wait for the police report to come in. Showing 15 and 15 on one phone and 13 and 16 on the other. Let's see. Buggy says, no big Mexican woman as Joseph Jalapeno on steaks says. He says. Grandma says, I'm so sorry to hear you feel, hope you feel better soon. Prayers for you. Mike says, did the driver have good insurance? I think he said didn't have insurance.
Oh my God, that's gonna.
See, Buggy says, I live, Grandma. Maria says, yeah, you're right. My dad should teach me, but we're busy with other things. Daryl said, did R3 head home? They were going to another thing for the kids, and Addie wanted him to go with them, so he went on. He went on with them. Buggy said, Stitch? Daryl said, no insurance. The multiple times, Olivia. No insurance. And multiply times OVI. Lowe's said, I'm Maria's area. We should get her a M1 AB Abrams. See, you said, over the limit. Daryl said, that's cool. I bet he's whooped too. Pape said, BMW are overpriced. I'd rather drive a Volkswagen Bug. Ain't nothing wrong with a Volkswagen Bug either. See, Buggy said, what's that one BMW that is really popular and beloved? What is that? MX-5 or MX-7 or something like that? Let's see. Rick says, I just subbed to Never Done Projects. Thank you. Thank you very much. I do appreciate it. Maria said, what's so special about a BMW? They're just an up-class car. A lot of high-end people like them. Brittany says, hi. Hello, Brittany. Buggy says, bugs are overrated. Lotus said, 2010 M5 GTR. Let's see, Buggy said, absolutely nothing aside that there's a hell of expensive. He's got something on that. Cole said, I'd love a Mini Cooper works. I like the Mini Coopers too. Grandma says, hi, Papi. Hugh says, I'd like to swap a early to mid 2000 BMW 300 series with an LS and manual transmission. There are like 6 on marketplace for $1,000. Yes. Long said, that stinks. Sounds like someone needs to go to prison for a few years and forced to pay a resolution. I agree. Grandma says, hi, Brittany. Buggy says, I'm sure no one said I was overrated. Daryl says, I agree, Mike. Hugh says, in America, BMW and Mercedes are expensive high-end cars. Overseas, it's like a Chevy to us. Yes, that it comes pretty popular over the pond, as some people say, I guess. Brittany says, hi, Matthew. Let's see. Home said, hi, Brittany. Brittany said, flowers for 30 jewels. Thank you, Brittany. Boggy says, wait, what about an Audi, Lotus? Hey, that ain't bad. That Audi's a nice car. Hugh says, hello, Brittany. Brittany says, hi, everyone. Lotus said, that's VW. Hugh says, gotta run. Time to clock is calling. All right, Hugh, be careful, buddy. Thank you for stopping in. Brittany says, you're welcome. Lotus says, you'll never go full VW. Brittany said, happy poop for 10 joules. Thank you, Brittany. Pape said, Teslas are getting crazy popular here now. Don't want no Tesla. They'd have to give me one for me to drive it. Grandma said, Pops, how is Randy 3? What did they tell him Friday on the doctor's appointment? It's not good. Well, it was good that the bones healed, but they're wanting more time for the tendons to heal. It's going to be at least 3 more weeks before he's able to even try to walk. Carlos said, good night, Hugh. Hugh said, have a good, awesome afternoon, day or night, everyone. Bobby said, Lotus, are you talking to me? Maria said, I saw one time a BMW logo on someone's grave, so that's weird. You think when you die you'll put your favorite car logo on your grave? If you're asking me, no, because I'm going to be burned. They're going to put a fire under my butt, throw my ashes out in the water somewhere. Lotus said, never owned a Tesla. Rick said, I'm back. Brittany said, where's Matthew? He was here earlier. Yeah. Lotus said, no, the other pond monster. Daryl says, you couldn't pay me to even test drive a Tesla. I guess that's what he's, and POS. Boggy says, Pape, we filled Tesla with a illegal amount of Tamarite. Mike said, laughing Mac. Grandma says, wow, I'll keep having him in my prayers. Lotus says, I do know a few Honda guys who would consider that. Daryl says, Matt was here. Boggy says, oh, I didn't know that Audi was owned by VW. I do pay attention to others. Brittany says, okay. Mary says, why do you prefer that over being buried? Well, I just don't like the idea of being in the ground and then years down the road have a flood, or they need the land to build a house and then they want to move your grave, or the flood and bodies washing down. I just assume, and I don't want to have a funeral. I don't want nobody coming looking. People that don't come see me now, I definitely don't want them to come see me when I'm passed away. I don't want no church service, and I don't want my body laying there, people to come look at me. If you want to see me alive, you better come. If you want to see me, you better come see me alive. I do not want to be viewed dead. Like I said, if anybody wants to see or talk to me, they talk to me when I'm alive. Grandma said, Mac, sorry about what happened to your shop. Daryl said, thanks, Grandma. Boggy says, you never mind, Maria, we're getting you a 2010 M5. Gator said, what the fuck's I walking into?
That's what I was laughing about. He come in and said that.
Well, you come in at the right time, didn't you, Gator? Rick said, just subbed to Metal Art Customs. That's another good channel, Rick. You ought to check it out. He usually does a premiere every day at 8 o'clock. Right after when I end this one, everybody goes over to Metal Art Custom and watches his premiere. Daryl said they just found 117 graves in the housing development from a graveyard that's been off the books for 100 years. See what I'm talking about? That's what I do not want. Rumpel said, yeah, VW owns a lot of brands. Mike said, that's funny, Gator. Maria said, strange thought, but I respect it. Daryl said, Gator. Rumpel said, even Stealth owns lots, Jeeps, Chrysler, Pugo, and Flat. Fiat. Grandma said, wow, you just sound like my father. He used to say that. Grandma's hi, Rumpel. Lotus said, in 2020, VW bought out Audi. Guess what else it owns is owned by Audi? Lamborghini. Jane said, hi, Gator. Rumpel said, Grandma, hello. Maria said, but why would someone build a house over a graveyard? Money. Daryl said, I told my wife that when I die, throw me in a raft, put me in the river, and I'll feed the animals till I hit the Gulf of Mexico. Gator said, Long Ranch Metal Garage, NDP, Maria, etc. Howdy all, Gator. And that is supposed to be water, right? A wave, not a dolphin. I think I said one the other time and it was the other one. Grandma said, hi, Gator. Jesus says, going to leave. Be safe, Jesus. I do appreciate you coming in. Maria said, that house will be 100% haunted. Carlos said, hello, Gator. Lotus said, Lamborghini. Jane said, take care. Jordan Pape said, I agree. Funerals are terrible. Throw my body in a lake. Let the fishes eat my bones. Boggy said, never plan to own a cheap car anyways. Rumpel said, Audi, Porsche, Lamborghini, Bentley, all by VW. Maria said, money. Yep, they're greed. They don't care what's under there as long as they get the money off of it, building a house. They don't care. Grandma says, later, 56, have a great night. God bless you and your family. Rick said, I just subbed to Grandpa Vic. Grandma Vic is also Hugh's wife, so you can give her a sub too if you want to. She's everybody in here is good people. Mike said, bye, Jesus. Maria says, it's still hot here. Man, I would like to have some of the heat right now. Carlos said, money, the root of all evil. Exactly, Carlo. Rick says, Grand Pedovic. Gator said, wife knows what my wishes are. Back my airboat up to the coast where I work and blow my ashes out to sea with my closest friends. Exactly, Gator. That's what I'm talking about. Rick says, if I die, I'd definitely be buried. Mike says, Rick, Grandma, and Grandpa Vic, good people. Boggy says, no. Amy said, that money can't buy happiness, but bad shit, crazy happiness. Let's see. No, but it'll buy me a boat and a truck to pull it. Grandma said, thank you, guys. Daryl says, there is no if, we will all die. Rumpel said, there's a company who turns ashes into diamonds for free. I have seen that they do that. Rick said, I'm slowly realizing there's a lot of people out there that do the same thing that we do. It's an honor to be able to sub to these channels. Yes, it is. I do try to get out and sub to everybody, and everybody sub to us. We consider ourselves a big family right here, and it's a lot of good people. You're welcome at any time. Maria says, did you know that the biggest graveyard in the world is in Iraq? Over 8 million people buried in one place, and people still prefer to bury there. I did not know that, Maria. Mike said, Gator, me to ashes mix with my pup's ashes and scatter. Rumpel said, oh, how interesting. Interesting fact, Maria. Boggy says, them actually said that, Pops. I'm sure they did. Maria said, and if I die, I'll bury there too. Boggy says, when I die, I want to die in glory. And if have no kids, my Shelby is coming with me. Yeah. And I'll tell you what's going to happen. You get buried with that car, somebody gonna dig your ass up and take that car. I'm watch. I'm telling you, somebody will do it. Maria says, okay, enough talking about death and creepy stuff. If nobody's gonna die, well, I don't plan on it. Grandma said, I'll sub later because I can't sub now. Gators, Rumpel says, you know what Zoroastrians do with their dead pops? I can't say it here. Google it later.
Never heard of it.
I've never heard of it. If I don't forget it, I am the world's worst of looking shit up. That's the reason I normally tell Jimmy the Cricket to do it, and he does it, but he's not here right now. Gator says, I agree. I've had enough of death. Exactly. Maria says, you don't believe in ghosts? I do not. But with that being said, now there's a lot of crazy shit that's happened at this building, and if I believed in ghosts, I would believe that Bobby is here. Boggy said, nope, I will go, bro, before it puts under. I can promise that. Daryl said, I'm going to go spend time with the family. Have a great night, everyone. See you, Daryl. Thanks for stopping in. Rick said, 100%, brother. Jane said, Maria, you talk about hiding dead bodies. Yeah, exactly. Boggy said, see you, Grandma.
Still doesn't mean nothing to me, but.
Yeah, I got it now.
Never heard of it. Something about Persian.
Still sounds like they burned them, though. It's got a fire involved in it.
That's what
I
I believe the American Indians used to do.
Let's see. Like I said, see you, Mac. Gator said, see you, Mac. Maria Jane, if a brain is for business work, things I should talk about here. Rick says, it's amazing how some videos do better than others. That junk your videos just hit 10,500 views. The next one, part 2, is catching up slowly, 700 some views. It is. It's wild how some videos will go and some won't. I think it's awesome. You got one that's doing 10,506. That is awesome. I'm definitely going to have to be one of the numbers on it. I'll have to go back and watch it. Maria said, shh. Well, you said I was going to say something, but I'm not sharing my illegal secrets. Yeah, don't do that. Not out here in this live. I mean, we won't say nothing, but, Grandma said, later, Mac, have a good night. God bless you and the family. Maria said, the FBI work is important. If I didn't investigate with Randy, then who's going to do that? Lakers fan says, happy Saturday. Hey, everyone. Hey, Grandma Vic. Well, Lakers, how you doing? Long says, good night, Mac. Let's see. Whew. Well, you said, Maria, if you're the FBI, you would be hunting me instead. The grandma said, Lakers. Long said, hi, Lakers. Let's see. Buggy said, pretty sure there's a group still looking for me in Arizona. Be careful telling everybody that, Buggy. You never know who might be in our life. Well, you know we're all over the world now. Mike said, Lakers, please hit the like button if you haven't yet. Yes, please touch my like thingy. Chris says, I still don't get any serious answers from the guy beside you. I still didn't get any serious answers from the guy beside you. What question did you ask? Grandma said, Pops, you saved me any candies? Oh, yes, I did, Grandma. I did. I saved you a whole damn bag of it if you want it. Bobby says, not cops, an actual car group, Pops. Oh, well, you never know who's going to be in here. Rick says, thanks, Mike. Rumpel says, well, I'm fed and I ate dinner twice already. Rick says, I asked him if you hide dead bodies around. I thought he told you that he found a finger, but he thought it was just a stick. Grandma said, cool, thanks. Maria said, you bury him.
And if I come up missing, she'll know the truth.
Yeah, I know, right? You burned up perfect. Kitty says, hey. I said, hi, hello, Kitty. Well, you said it was the bald guy. He did it. That's right. Mike said, Rick, thumbs up. Girl says, hey, Kitty. Bobby said, hey, Katrina. Lotus said, hey, Kitty. Kitty says, hey, Grandma Vic. Lotus says, Buggy, you can hide here. Kitty says, hey, Buggy and Lotus. Buggy said, thanks, Lotus. Mike says, hi, Katrina. I'm showing 15 and 22 and 14 and 21. Y'all hit that likey button for me, please. Beth says, I want to say that we had a great week at your place. It was so great to meet you, Randy, RH3, Madison. You are great people, and we are so glad to call you friends. And Beth, we think the same thing. Y'all don't know just how much what y'all done for us, especially me. And I've already got a aching stomach feeling because I know what it's going to be when y'all leave. It's going to be another empty place. It's been great having y'all here. Boggy says, Mike, I have an idea. Grandma says, hi, Beth. Maria says, why don't you confess then? Because then I would be in trouble. Best thing to do is keep y'all guessing. Kitty said, hey, Maria. Maria says, hi, Katrina. Boggy says, Angel, let me at Mike for 2 seconds so I can look at his eyes. Jane said, hi, Cat. Lotus says, Boggy, did you see Cletus' latest video on the Rat Rod Super? Kitty said, hey, Jane. Grandma said, Madison is a sweetheart. Mike said, okay, Buggy. Buggy says, no, I haven't.
Why does Bogey want to look at me again? That's kind of creepy.
Let's see. Buggy says, no, I haven't. Maria says,
trying to see if I'm high on candy or sugar.
Yeah. Maria says, give yourself to justice. No, I'll never will I tell. Let's see. Lotus says, you need to watch 1,500 horsepower sequential. It says, you'll be fine, I swear. No, I'll never tell. I'll never say a word. My secret will go to the grave. Oh, never mind, I ain't gonna be grave. My secrets will be burnt with me. Jane says, look me in the eyes. You're getting very sleepy. You're getting sleepy. Lotus says, we need to do this to your Supra. Boggy says, if you can get that Fox body up and running, I'll open up a Fox body a little bit.
Okay, that's the deal.
Lotus said, release the file, Randy files. Grandma said, did he leave? Did he leave? Randy says, I can't breathe. Boggy says, you're not doing anything with the Supra. I'm happy the way it is. Maria said, yes, I'm getting really sleepy right now. Very, very sleepy. You're not closing your eyes. You're just resting. See, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Let's see. Letter says, don't do it. He going to race for slips, win your Fox, and kill it on the spot. Kitty said, where's Olivia? She's at a doctor's appointment. Lotus says, come on. Lotus, come on. Grandma said, Pops, Yang was here yesterday. Grandma said, stop talking slowly or I'll fall asleep. Boggy said, she's doing a checkup at the moment. Kitty said, okay, Boggy. Rita said, do something interesting. Grandma said, I know. Did she leave? Oh, yes. She stayed yesterday. Everybody started leaving, and then she headed on out. I'm sorry. I didn't catch what you were saying, Grandma. Boggy says, now let someone speed up the chat so he is behind. Lotus, just so you know. I can't. I'll end up messing up a word or four. You just don't want to let the Supra be faster than the Shelby. Rick says, going to lives is my favorite. You get the people, many people. Let's see. Boggy says, you're right, Lotus. Yes, Rick, we do. I've got people all over the world that come in. That's the reason we started doing the world map. We've got them all over Australia, Iraq, Canada. They're all over. It is absolutely phenomenal to see how many people that is from all over the world.
Somebody out in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's at. New Zealand?
Let's see.
A lot of India.
Yeah. India. Let's see. Maria says, I think someone should change your engine. It's getting slowly.
A lot of it, Germany and France.
Yeah, we got several in there.
Russia. You probably got about as many overseas as you do in the United States.
I do. I believe I do. Let's see. Mike says, Maria, just don't hit your head when you fall asleep. Grandma said, that's true. The old Buggy says, I'll never be done speeding up the Shelby. Maria says, why would I hit my head when you fall asleep? He just
on the desk.
Hit it on the desk, the bed, or wherever you're at. Buggy says, I kind of want to turn my 72 Charger chrome. Jane said, Pakistan. Yep, we got them in Pakistan too. Maria said, so the number on the shop is your number or your son's? The number on the shop is the shop number. That is what is I'm on right now. Randy has his own phone. I got mine. The number on the shop is on the building is the shop phone. That's actually stays here at the shop. Let's see. Lotus said, chrome the whole car or chrome paint. Boggy says, the whole ass car. Boggy says, make it shiny. Boggy said, Boggy said, just to be an ass. Lotus said, boo, boo, whole chrome car, boo. Kitty said, lol. Boggy's laughing. Rita says, so if someone called, who's going to answer? Well, right now it'd be me. I mean, most of the time right now with Randy in the wheelchair, it's going to be me answering. Because, like I said, I'm here more than Randy is. Boggy says, I mean, think about it. It'd be fun. It does stay at the shop, so yeah, I did add some more Pepsi a minute ago. Never mind, I believe I'm drinking a lot of water because my ice is melting. Hey, that's where I get my water from.
There you go.
Let's see, it's okay, be here when I call. Yeah, I hear you, Maria. Boggy says, chrome car. Lotus says, yeah, all I can see in my head is Demo Ranch and the El Chromio. Boggy said, why?
Yeah, I seen a totally chromed out Harley dresser one time. Everything. It was too much.
I've seen
Way
some
too
car.
much.
No, I've not seen it personal. I've seen some video where they do that chrome
Yeah.
on the whole car.
Everything was chrome but the hand grips and the seat.
That would be too much.
It was too much.
Let's see. Lotus says too much chrome. Maria says you don't believe that. Jane said, Boggy, a car that is all chrome is obnoxious to other drivers in the sunshine. Well, that's probably what he means by he would do it just to be an ass. Carlos said, Lotus, when do we get to see Jen in action? Kitty said, hey, Carlos. Lotus said, when I take it out and run it. Take it out and run out. When I take it out and run it. Maria says, what if I provided you're wrong? What if I proved you wrong? Make a believer out of me. Lotus said, probably tomorrow. Carlos says, hello, Kitty. Carlos says, cool, Lotus. Lotus said, it's still right next to me. Boggy says, okay. The body is just chrome. The inside will probably be, Boggy says, like a black fabric mostly. Boggy says, and the grill and back bumper will be jet black. Carlos said, it's in good company, Lotus. Lotus says, I'm hoping it shifts this time. Boggy said, that's the plan. I would like to have like a older Cadillac. I call them sleds. Which I would even take a Pontiac Bonneville, something like that. But I want to do it from front bumper to back bumper, all black. Everything you look at's jet black. And then white leather tires. I think that'd be wild. Let's see, Boggy says, and Jane out front, I don't even touch the charger. It's just sets. Rita said, well, unfortunately, I haven't topped up my balance, so I can't make a call now, but one day, who knows? Let's see, unfortunately, I haven't topped up. We never know. I did call Carl over there at Australia for Carlo. That was funny talking to them. The person over at the flower shop, they were I think they were just as excited to talk to me as I was them. That was funny. Let's see. Buggy says, might as well make a look pretty and disruptive. Rumple said, all right, I'm off to the fairylands, pops, peeps. See you, Rumple. Thanks for stopping in. Maria says, it's so hot. What the F. So hot, she stutters. Mike said, night, Rumple. Lotus said, I thought you were going to put a huge blower on it, Boggy. Jane says, I had a cyber truck behind me and the reflection on my rearview mirror was so bright from the sun, it was stupid. Rumple said, long wrench, upside down smile and wave. Jane said, take care, Rumple. Boggy says it will have a huge blower and it's chrome. That's what sparked the idea. Rumple said, Jane, upside down face and wave. Hello. Let's see. Boggy says, I just burnt out on working on Mopars because they're a nightmare to work on sometimes. Rick said, black chrome bumpers. Yeah. Maria says, the big problem is if I'm going to what? Or not. If I did, that would be really funny and embarrassing. Shouldn't be embarrassing. Might be funny. Shouldn't be embarrassing though. See, Lotus says, too bright for me. I hate my car being white. I absolutely cannot stand a white car. Like you said, that sounds like a you problem, Mike, if you paid it for you. Like you said, painted it. I'm missing something. Lotus and Maria, we would never make fun of the way you speak. That would be really rude. No, there's no way. I like I said, I thought it was it was kind of hard to understand them in Australia, but she was a very nice lady when I talked to her, and she told me it was hard for her to understand me too. For her to understand me. And I don't know, I just got to laughing, and so did she. It was so funny. Buggy said, let's see, Lotus says, he too busy. Carlos said, you guys in the USA have the vast selection of vehicles to choose from compared to Australia. Yeah, but y'all have, some of the vehicles y'all have some badass rides. See, and matter of fact, Cletus is having an event in March, and Summer Nats are coming over here to have the event here at the Freedom Factory. I may have to check into going to that. Boggy says, pay him more and he won't be busy. Matter of fact, I would like to talk to Randy, go ahead and buy tickets and get our cars ready to go there. Lotus says, paint it myself for all that. Grandma says, Boggy, you don't have a blower. Grandma said, Lowell. Lotus says, not my first rodeo. Kitty said, Lowell. Boggy says, you going to rattle can it? Lotus said, I've done some badass high detail paint jobs in the past. We started out building lowriders. Boggy, you just don't know who you talk to. Lotus is the man. Boggy says, what? Why not get a blower? Boggy said, he is the man. That's right. He is the man with the plan. He knows all. He's the only person I know of when God has questions, he calls Lotus. Boggy says better than the sister have. Maria says that if an Australian didn't understand you, so how I'm going to do it. You understand me right now. You hear me. I talk the same on the phone as I do on this live. Mike said blower money, exactly. That's the reason none of my cards have one on it. Lotus says I don't know all, but I know a lot. That's right. I just playing, Lotus. You know that. Grandma said you said Hugh instead of huge. Lotus said especially if it has to do with cars. Buggy says, I'll buy Hugh a blower as well. Shit, if you buying blowers, send one to the Never Done Projects. Maria says, maybe you talk in another language on the phone. Nope, I still talk the same language. You may hear another language, but I talk my language here. Pure ass redneck. Lotus says, or construction. Buggy said, Hugh. Maria says, the Randy language. That's right. Boggy's laughing. Kitty's laughing. Lotus said, see, I mess up. I should have told Daryl I'll fix his shop if he paints my car. Look at there. Now you're thinking. Save, he gets some insurance money, you fix it, he pays your car, he comes out ahead. Maria says, but you talk fast. You told me not to talk slow because you was about to fall asleep. Woman, you're going to have to make up your mind. I get excited and talk fast. I apologize. Boggy says, ha ha. Boggy said, you still have time, lol. That's right. Work it out. I can slow it down. Boggy said, women. Yeah. Yeah, buddy. Lotus said, I also need my daily. Maria says, but you talk fast. Then you better listen fast. You'll miss it. Jesus says, no, don't. Lotus says, I need another car. I do too, Lotus. Jesus says, Lord, I'm back. Welcome back, Jesus. Grandma said, welcome back, 56. Jesus said, thanks. Last times it was 3 days. Let's see. Boggy said, sorry, pal, I also need another car. Maria says, I talk really fast when I'm anxious or excited. Me too, Maria, me too. Just slow your roll. Jesus said, love the jokes. I didn't know. I didn't know if anybody would catch that one or not. Lotus said, the problem with daily the race car is when you want to do upgrades, you can't because you need it. Maria says, don't talk too fast or too slow. It's simple. Well, I am a simple man.
Everybody's having a sugar crash.
Do what?
Everybody's having a sugar crash.
Yes.
Coming down off their candy and.
Well, I was sitting there thinking about backing up eating some of them chocolate things right there. I'm I know I've drank way too much Pepsi today because I can feel it.
You want to go grab a water?
I really need water, to be honest with you.
I'm kind of thirsty, so I'll go get water.
Well, there's water in that bottom refrigerator.
Huh?
On that bottom refrigerator, there's
No water in it.
There was a small thing of water on the bottom of it. I hope you're still there. Let's see. Maria says, why is your orange shirt look so different today? This is the orange shirt that Mike and Beth bought us. Mine's orange and Randy's is red. They brought it to us. And it's got the different picture on the back. Let's see if I can make sure I line it up with you right. It's actually got Randy and me and our picture on it. That's what Mike and Beth got Randy and myself. Let's see. Lotus said, listen faster. There you go. Boggy said, Maria, we might be simple, but after listening to women for so long, we can only take complex orders. Maria says, you don't understand women. Just admit that. Hey, nobody understands women. I'm just telling you. See, Kitty said, nice shirt. Thank you. Grandma said, that's nice. It is real nice. Now, Mike and Beth didn't like it because it's the type of material it is. But I like it. And it's actually the same material. Thank you. It's the same material as the gray shirt I got on. Oh, what? Did I just say I had a gray shirt on? Look at there. But I like this shirt. And this is also the type of shirt that my yellow ones that I wear for work is this also the same material. So I actually like this shirt. Let's see. Boggy says, you're right. Absolutely nobody. And I raised 3. Grandma says, watch it, Boggy. Lotus says, how could we understand every time we almost got it, women changed the game up? Amen. Boggy says, sorry, man. Maria says, no, I can understand women. I'm sorry. Maria said, no, I can't understand women. You're not the only one. We can't understand them neither. I'm just playing. If you can understand them, it's because you're one of them. We're simple people. Y'all are way too damn complex. Boggy says, because you're a woman. Yeah, that's probably what I needed rather than that Pepsi. Woo.
Did Mary see that?
Wow, I'm sure she missed it. Let's see, amen to being simple. I like being simple. I mean, you say you go right, you go right. You go left, you go left. Boggy said, I need water. Kitty said, very simple, yes. Maria says, and I can understand men too. No. You don't understand men. If you did, you'd understand why I wear orange like I do. See, Lotus said, sure. Boggy said, it's because we're simple, Maria. It's just simple. If we want something, we either say we want it or we go get it. If we don't want something, we say we don't want it or we just don't get it. We don't care. It's simple. Maria says, what am I thinking right now? Lotus said, right. Maria says, why not? Maria says, because you like orange. There you go, because I like orange and I'm pretty much a simple person. Let's see, Lotus said, and there's no hidden meaning, no hidden meaning. That's right. Well, we say something, we pretty much mean it, and that's the end of it. Boggy says, we live big cars. I think we live big cars, guns, and one more thing, but that's not here. I read it. Boggy says, oh, he retracted both of them. The drink of choice today. Y'all see that, don't you? Maria says, see, I can understand. Boggy says, we like big cars, guns, and buns. There you go. Like the back of a Honda. Let's see. Rick says, well, ladies and gentlemen, and Mike, I got to get off here. I got to go back to work on my Kia Soul. The shifter shaft in the automatic transmission corroded and froze up. So that's the project. Well, Rick, I appreciate you coming in. It was nice meeting you and talking to you. And you be safe. Love to see you again. Like I say, every day at 6 p.m. And usually Sunday morning we go live and cook breakfast. Lotus said, bunnies. Boggy says, you damn right, Lotus. Maria says, the tiny bottle. See what I'm saying, Maria? You can't be happy. It's still purified water. Let's see. Night. Rick said, Mike. Rick says for tonight and maybe tomorrow night. Who knows? Be in touch, Mike. I'll message you tomorrow night, everyone. Awesome. See you. Daryl says I'm back. Maria says you drink lots of Pepsi and just a little water. But it's better than not drinking any water. And actually, Maria, I drink this small bottle of water because it's free. I'm a simple man. Why pay for it when you get it free? Let's see. Mike says, yes, Maria, but it's still water. Kitty said, Mac. Maria says, drink more water. Carlos says, welcome back, Mac. Kitty says, I had a lot of water. James says, take care, Rick. Boggy says, Maria, he is drinking water. Why can't you be happy and friends? Daryl said, my coffee has water, so I'm good. So does my Pepsi. And I'll tell you what, the more it sits here, the more ice melts and more water gets in my Pepsi. Let's see. So, Mike said 100% or 100 Boggy. JH7 said hi. Hello, JH. Boggy says, why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? Kitty said good health for water. Lotus said most drinks are 80% water. See, look at there. I'm only drinking 20% drink. Mike said hi, JH. Kitty says, hello, Boggy. Boggy said, exactly. Maria said, thanks God it's free because if it's not, Randy will never drink water. Hey, just to let you know, I have bought a whole case of water. It sits down there, and every day, morning, I'll pour a 24 ounce into that coffee pot, and I'll make me a cup of coffee. So I know I'm drinking 24 ounces of water because it goes in my coffee. I can never understand you. Exactly. Let's see. Boggy says, I'll just pick on you, Maria. Something just froze up. Boggy says, I'm just picking on you, Maria. Lotus says, he could be hooked on energy drinks like most of us. That's right. You won't see me drinking no energy drink. Kitty said, Boggy, you so funny, lol. Boggy says, oh, add that to the list, Lotus. Kitty said, yep, Lotus. Grandma said, Pops, have a good night, and thank you for your love. God bless you and the family. Grandma, thank you for stopping in. Thank you for your prayers. God bless you, and you have a good night. Grandma said, good night, everyone. God bless you and your family. Carlos said, good night, Grandma. Lotus said, good night, Grandma. Boggy says, big cars, guns, bunnies, and annoying the hell out of women. Maria said, no way. You make coffee out of water. If you didn't tell me, I'll never know that. I think somebody just become a smart ass. I might be wrong, but I think that was a smart ass saying right there. I like it. That's something like I would say. Kitty said, be safe, Grandma. Boggy said, good night, Grandma. Mike said, Grandma, good night. I said that backwards, but all right. Oh, Lotus got it. Smart ass. And we're saying that with the nicest way, Maria. Maria said, everything is in life made from water. Even most of your body weight is water. So, therefore, I'm good on water. You say I'm overweight, so that means I got more water in me than the average person. You say I'm going to die because I ate too much, but I got way too much water in me. So I'm healthy. Kitty says, right, Maria. Maria says, even a 2-year-old will now. Boggy said, nah, my body is made out of solid stone, Maria. I agree with Maria. My body is, what'd she say? Let me go back and read the text. Let's see. Most of your body is weight of water is water. So see, I agree with Maria. Most of my overweightness is because of water. Water weighs more than everything else. Let's see. Maria says no.
%60 water.
60% water. Wow, see, look at it.
I thought it was more than that. But
Let's see. Kitty says, I don't like coffee. Now, I do not like black coffee. I do put, before I started eating honey or drinking honey in my coffee, I had to have a lot of sugar. So my coffee really wasn't that good for me either because I did drink way too much sugar. But I started putting honey into my coffee for sweetener. And, you know, honey's good for you. So with honey and my creamer, then now I got good coffee. Daryl said, Randy, you just drank poison. Yep, I did, Daryl. Lotus says, so if you stop drinking water here, will be less water in me, therefore I will lose weight. There you go. Boggy says, nah, Maria, I thought we were made out of car oil. Maria said, yes, 60%. I was going to say that, but I wasn't sure about it. Let's see. I knew that. See, I was faster than you. Let's see. Carlos says, I like coffee how I like my women, hot and black. Boggy said, raw honey does things to you. That's right. It does a lot of help. It's good for you. Maria said, yes, honey is good. Kitty said, lol. Boggy said, raw honey is crazy, bro. Yep. Lotus says, turn you into a bee. Maria says, you didn't know that. Mike knew it.
I Googled it.
He Googled it. Pape said, room temperature water is better cold. Let's see, room temperature water is better cold water for your body fat. Yeah, I've heard that before too. Also, water is the only drink that I don't mind drinking room temperature. My drinks and stuff like that, I gotta have them cold or I won't drink them. If they get hot, I won't finish them. I gotta put them back in the refrigerator. But now, water, I'll drink water room temperature. Maria said useless.
That's a common preference. Drinking room temperature water is often believed to aid digestion and be absorbed more quickly because your body doesn't need to use energy to adjust its temperature.
I didn't even know why I asked him. Let's see. What did I just... Well, okay, Buggy. Let's see. It said useless. Lotus says Mountain Dew warm is okay. Not me. Now Randy drinks it warm. I cannot. Justin drinks it warm, but not me. I can't do it. Mike had never tasted cheerwine, and I gave him a cheerwine from here, but it was warm, and I told him it's really not good warm. And I thought my Pepsi machine wasn't working, but it had some leaves clogging up the fan. He cleaned it out, and when he did, it went working. So now it's cold, but he's already got the bad taste of a hot cheerwine, and so he really won't try a cold one now. But he don't like cheerwine. Let's see, and I don't like a hot cheerwine, that's for sure. Let's see. Let's see. Maria says I only drink water and tea. Tea's bad for you. You shouldn't drink tea. You should drink more water. Well, you said, Lotus, it will do more than that. Said, Kitty said, same. Maria, Lotus said, why should try a Pepsi? You should try a Pepsi, Maria. Maria said, I drink Pepsi really rarely. Well, you said, I wish I was joking, Pops. People use it as a remedy. I mean, that's fine. I think it's funny. I didn't know that, but that's cool. Lotus said, correct me if I'm wrong, but Pepsi is different over there, isn't it? Maria says, if I drink too much Pepsi, I'm going to turn bald. That's what I'm afraid of. If Pepsi's not going to make you bald unless it's way different in Iraq than here. Lotus said, V venom has a lot of good effects to you. Yep. Boggy says, I drink Pepsi and I'm not bald. I drink Pepsi and I'm not bald. Lotus says, I drink Pepsi and I'm not bald. Boggy says, what does V venom do? Maria says, you're going to be Boggy. Kitty said, Pepsi is okay. Lotus said, heals scars. They used to use it as a healing process back in the olden days. Daryl said, Sprite and coffee unless I'm at a restaurant, then it's root beer. Reaper said, meow, meow. But now I'm telling y'all, before I started drinking honey in my coffee, I had to take a Kenalog shot every year, sometimes twice a year, and because of my allergies. And I also had to take a allergy pill every single day. Since I got the honey in me every single day with the coffee, I do not take any Kenalog shots. I couldn't tell you the last time I had one. And I don't take my allergy pill no more, and I'm not affected with allergies. Lotus said, meow. Lotus said, how's Bucky? Maria said, I think American Pepsi has more gas, which makes it worse. Kitty says, Maria agreed. I agree with Maria. I mean, it sounds like to me America's got everything worse. I don't know why anybody would want to come to America. Lotus says, we have high fructose corn syrup in ours. Yours is real sugar. Maria says, when did you start working at Pepsi? How old were you? I worked for Pepsi about 16 years ago. So I'm 56, I was 40. See, Daryl said, Dad takes a spoonful of honey every morning. Has to be local to your area. That is what a lot of people say, Daryl, but mine is not local. Now, I have started buying local, it comes from Winston, but when I started it was just Walmart honey. I don't know where they got it, but it was just literally honey from Walmart, and it helped me. But I have heard that, but it's not, it has stopped me from needing allergies medicine. Reaper said, I'm doing good, just gave the rest of the candy to the station. Bobby said, Maria, I don't think I'll ever be bald. Maria says, lots of people want to come to America. I can't, after the way you talk and tell me, there ain't a damn good thing in America. I don't know why y'all would want to come to America. It's bad. Fat people. Maria says, why, Boggy, you didn't know the future? Kitty said, Boggy, you drink Pepsi too much and we'll get bald. Lotus says, Lord, I gave a good grocery bag to my kitty buddy's kids this morning. Maria says, and how many years did you work for them? I didn't work for them about I don't know, about a year and a half, something like that. Let's see, Pape said, do you still work for the railroad service? I do. I'm on my 15th year. Daryl says, he hasn't got sick since he started doing that. I've really not been sick. I get a little head cold, but as far as being really down sick, like Boggy, I've not been like that in a pretty good while. It may hit me tomorrow, but I haven't been sick like that in a pretty good while. See, Reaper said, I'm going to get my job back. Lotus said, did you actually quit? Lotus said, why? Reaper said, if it's Walmart honey, it's not 100% real honey. Yes, it is. I done had this conversation with somebody else that said the same thing, and it is real honey. It is real, that they sell that real raw honey at Walmart. Buggy said, AKS Pops, I have a lot of hair and I'm 2 years younger than little Randy. Lowe's says, and why go back? Not like you needed to. Lowe's says, can confirm the pond monster is hairy. Buggy says, ha ha. Buggy says, I'm not that sick. Well, I thought according to Olivia, you were about to die. Maria said, wow, and only with 1 year you made the addiction to their product? Well, you don't even want to know how bad I was addicted, as you say, to Dr. Pepper before I started working for Pepsi. Maria said, we buy honey from a reliable source. Pape said, yeah, honey helps. Honey is the only food that doesn't expire. Boggy said, it's real honey. It's not raw. It's treated. Lotus said, if you go read the ingredients on the raw honey, it says it's raw honey. It doesn't have other ingredients in it. But they sell good honey at Walmart too, and it's cheap, like fake stuff. Reaper says, I can't sit in the house all day and they're going to give my job back anyway. Reaper said, yesterday I saw my little cousin playing with the Pepsi truck. I think in my mind that's Randy's dream truck. Yeah. Lotus said, don't you have 5 projects that need attention, Bucky? Daryl said, farm market honey is the best. Well, I agree with all that's being said, but y'all gonna also have to realize the way I look at it. I could be using sugar or honey. It don't matter if it's real honey, fake honey. It says it's real, it's raw. And I think it's a step in the right direction for my old unhealthy self, as Maria would say. Let's see. Reaper said yes, and half of them are the house. Maria said it's not real honey. Search about it. I'm not going to waste my time. Jane said, Reaper, what happened to your trucking job? Boggy says, well, it's hard to explain, Pops, but they don't add anything to it, but you can't eat it off the cone because of the reason I told you. Lotus said, Lowell, hate working on the house. Reaper said, it's not for me, Jane. Honey, Pape said, honey is honey, it doesn't expire. That's right. Let's see, Carlos says, I'm back. Y'all had my sandwich. It was yummy. Now I'm going to have a piece of, what is that? Panettone? Panettone. I don't know what that is, but you be safe eating it. Reaper says, and I also have to try to fix the Ford that I totaled. Boggy says, they killed and cleaned out the honey. It's sweet, just not medically a PP enlarger anymore. Daryl said, Mike, you got another week there?
Tomorrow.
He's pulling out in the morning. Lotus said, bread with chocolate in it. Somebody took their light back. I had 24.
Yeah, they're dragging tonight. They're not doing a very good job.
No, it's which I don't have, but it's showing in one phone 11 and the other one 13. So I've not had a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I've not had any trolls in here at all tonight.
No. I'm sure you got 23.
Yeah, I just had 24. One had, and see, this one was just showing 25. So somebody took their light back. Let's see, Boggy said, Pops, very often seen me in person, and did Randy show you? I saw the picture of you in the costume, but now as far as Randy said something about he had a picture of you, but I've not seen it, no. Lotus said, I hit it. Lotus said, and I didn't take it back. Reaper said, the Ford that literally broke my heart. Reaper said, if you think living in America is bad, that's a normal thing. Everybody talk bad about their countries unless they search about how other people suffer with everything in their country. No, Maria, I do not think it's bad. I was being funny because everybody says America's bad, and you said I'm fat, and all this. I was actually making a joke. I think it's phenomenal to live in America. I would like to go see other places in the world to see what everybody talks about it. I don't like to believe what's on the news about all the other countries, but I would like to go see it personally. Daryl said, not me. Carlos says, Pandadon is a sweet leavened bread with fruit in it. Okay.
It's like fruitcake.
Fruitcake, okay.
I'm guessing.
Well, it's got fruit in it, so that's what pretty much fruit. Oh, I got it now, Carlo. Let's see. Boggy said, give me a minute. Something just come through, Boggy. I think it's that Eugene. Hello, how are you doing tonight? Good evening, everybody. I'm doing good tonight. I gave you thumbs up tonight. Thank you. Yeah, I see it. It did go up. I appreciate it. Some little turkey took theirs back, but I appreciate you giving me one. Let's see. Reaper said, did you get the reference bald man? I think I missed it, Reaper. Mike said, Eugene Reyes said, for example, the American passport is the most powerful passport in the world. It can take you to travel anywhere without visa. You know how hard it is to get a visa for one country? I do not. I have heard it's pretty hard because I know a guy that had a working visa to come over here, and he worked for a place that my wife did, and he had one, but now I don't know how hard it is to get one. See, Lotus said, trust Maria, if you can suffer in America too, if you're poor, it can be very hard life. Boggy says, well, tell Maria it's not going bald anytime soon. No, well, like I said, she thinks, I think she made a joke about the drinking Pepsi, you'll go bald since I am, but I think it was just a joke. Buggy said it will turn gray, not bald. Kitty says, lol, Buggy. Reaver said, the truck broke my heart. Oh, now I got it. Yes. The accident's what messed your heart. I got you, Reaper. You're right. That went right over my head. Sorry. Lotus said, no, it pierced your heart. That's different. Maria said, traveling to the moon is much easier than trying to get American visa. Maria says, no, Boggy, you'll be bald. Reaper said, sent happy poop for 10 jewels. Boggy said, nope. Kitty said, lol. Lotus said, getting a U.S. passport is a pain in the butt and cost. Wait a minute. Tonight is Saturday night. He don't have a premiere, and I told Rick to go to the premiere.
No. Yeah.
I didn't even think about that just now. Let's see. Boggy says, like I said, I'm 2 years younger than little Randy, and he is balding. I'm not. Maria says, no, trust me. You will trust me. Boggy says, Pops can prove it. Maria says, the chickens told me. I think she's pulling your leg there, Boggy. You're biting way too hard on it. Reaper said, well, technically my rib broke my heart. There you go. Tell him I'm so mad I can't. Boggy says, now. Maria says, they told me Boggy will be bald. I'm glad you're starting to communicate and really bond with the chickens. That makes my heart warm that you and your daddy and the chickens are really bonding. I'm so proud of you. Let's see, Kitty said, Maria and Boggy Law. Lotus said, Maria, people can be horrible no matter what country it is. Maria said, now you're on my blacklist. Boggy says, no, I'm having fun. Reaper said, I love that Ford. And go ahead, bald man, make a Ford joke. I would never make a Ford joke. Maria says, no, I'm still fighting with them. They're annoyed. But they're talking to you. They're giving you advice. I think that is so nice. Carlos said, Aussies can be really nasty to each other. Yes, everybody's got mean, dumbass people are in it. That's why we try to keep his lives so positive. Well, you said the chickens know everything. That's why it's my favorite food. Lotus said, found on road dead. Effed over rebuilt Dodge. Mike said, better blacklist than hit the hit list, Maria. Poppy said, I know, no, don't care about baseball, but game 7 is coming on. Yes, Chester come over today. He's not feeling the best. He's been kind of under the weather, but he was saying something about the Blue Jays, wasn't it?
Huh?
Didn't he say the Blue Jays? I don't know who's playing, but
I don't remember what it says.
I'm not sure. He said he was hoping the Blue Jays won because they were going on to the other the next game, and he was hoping they won because they had never won a World Series. Boggy said, F on race day. Maria says, you know who's on the top of my black list? No, who would ever be on the top of your black list? Said, Boggy said, Pops. Kitty said, Lowell. Lotus said, Randy and Randy. Maria. Reaver said, the first time I started talking to y'all that you do was the joke, bald man. Yeah, I know, but you're kind of under the weather there, Reaper, so I wasn't going to make too many jokes. And I thought you said you went and bought you a new truck. Maria says, how did you know, Lotus? Popeye said, Dodgers and Blue Jays. There you go. That's who's playing. And he wanted the Blue Jays to win because they have never won a series, World Series. Lotus said, hey, at least we haven't thrown you under the bus anymore, Reaper. Buggy says, Bucky, it's okay. I live my Ford too. Chris says, and you know what's going to happen to the people on my black list. They ended under the ground 6 feet under. Well, like I said, Maria, I'm not going to. Mike said, the new F-150 comes with heated tailgates so your hands stay warm when you're pushing them in the winter. Maria said, one day, I won't be 6 foot under. If I do, and there's such thing as a ghost, I will haunt the shit out of whoever put me underground instead of burnt me. Boggy says, love, not live. Yeah, I knew what it was. I just went since I saw you made a mistake. Lotus and Maria, I can be on the hit list. I'm tired of going to work. Me too, Lotus. Boggy said, no, Lotus. Reaver said, I did a 2005 Chevy Duramax diesel dually. That's what I thought. Reaver said, no, Lotus, you can't choose to be on the list. Boggy said, I'll just kidnap you. Grace said, hit. Hello, Grace. Kitty said, still simple, Maria. Lotus says, your new F-150 come with a bike, so you will have some reliable transportation.
He's seen the same ones I've seen, I
Yeah.
think, with the gorilla.
Yes. Mike said, hi, Grace. Lotus said, please, Maria. Maria said, nope, don't try. Lotus said, I'll walk myself to the hole. Pape said, yeah, the Blue Jays are the only Canadian team in the lead, so I'm rooting for the Dodgers. Can somebody please hit that likey thingy so I at least have 25? I'm showing 25 on one phone with 24 on the other, so they won't give me but 24. Let's see, Popeye, that's what I just read that. Boggy said, Lotus, tell her you drink Pepsi and are bald. That will get you on the list fast. Reaper said, I like the Chevy, but I'm still a Ford man. Lotus said, I'll provide the throwaway gun. Kitty said, Lowell, Boggy. Lotus says, no, I wear an orange shirt, Maria. Maria said, but Lotus, you can go to Randy's shop. He'll turn you into a really delicious hot dog for breakfast morning. Lotus said, what the fuck? Oh, Lord.
Maria's becoming twisted by coming in here.
I'm not lying. She's really going to the dark side. That's wrong. Shame. Boggy's laughing. Shame on you, said Lotus. Kitty's laughing. Maria got everybody laughing on that. He'll do it. He do it all the time.
You know what they say, my baloney has a first name.
And my baloney has a first name. It's Oscar. What? How do you spell Lotus? Lotus said, "We don't eat people." She swears up and down that we do here. Boggy says, "Now my head hurts." Boggy said, "Damn it, Maria." Oh, thank you, Maria. Why did it change that? Well, Maria says, but they do. She would have if she seen that big old thing meat Randy had, that 10 pounds of meat today.
Yeah. She would have thought that was a leg or something.
Especially when I cut the plastic. Did you see it? When I cut that plastic, it spewed like a blood vessel. It went everywhere. Let's see. Olivia said, "Who we eat?" Love Maria's swearing up down that if Lotus to come here, I'll cut him up and eat him for tomorrow morning breakfast. Reaper says, "All right, y'all. I'm going to get my job back. Y'all have a good rest of the night and don't kill anyone. And remember to keep it silly." Sounds good, Reaper. Thank you. Lotus, and good luck. Lotus said, the secret in the sauce. Maria says, we're eating Lotus. Olivia, Maria says, I mean, they're going to. Olivia says, oh, okay. Kitty says, hey, Olivia. Maria says, not me. Olivia said, Kitty. Lotus said, Olivia, protect me from Maria. She's eating people. Olivia said, but I want a hot dog. Mike said, ketchup covering the taste of everything. That's right. Olivia, you just come in. Hit that like button, please. Touch my likey thingy, please. I sure would like to see that 25 before I sign off. Let's see, Lotus, I'm fatty and I don't taste good. Listen, I'm leaving before I die of a migraine. Well, hit that like button, please, before you leave, and please don't die. There it is. Thank you. Olivia, and I don't know if it'll help now. If you're still in here, I don't know if it'll help, but they say if you put a piece of ice between your thumb and your finger and squeeze it, it'll help you get rid of a migraine. If you're still in here, if you don't mind, try it and tell me if it works, please. Let's see, Ken said, Lowell, Ken, hit that likey button. Oh, somebody already hit that likey button, Ken, thank you. Maria says, now I understand why you keep Mike in the building until now.
I don't understand what she means.
Yeah, I don't either, but he might not be leaving in the morning. Let's see. Kitty says, y'all so funny. David said, what the hell, Boggy? The phone is broke again. Ken said, I already did, bro. Okay, thank you. Then he said, hi. Ken said, gotta love some small creatures. Yes. Lotus says she thinks Mike is energy food.
Emergency food.
Emergency, sorry. I said that wrong. I read it and was looking up at the same time. Ken said, creators. Red said, tomorrow is Sunday. That's right, I need breakfast food. Ken said, creators, though, tools equals smiles. I guess that's what that means.
I think he thinks we cut up and have a good time. We're not so serious like the big channels.
Yeah, might
That's
be.
what he's referring to. But
Oh. Red said, Sunday is breakfast is coming. Well, you said, yeah, I noticed that I'm leaving when she sees into her account my phone had a crash out. Ken said, I need a shot of hog for pan sausage.
screen if you're in danger.
Buggy said, I'm leaving. Hey, he ain't saying nothing. Buggy said, I'm leaving before I die of a migraine. Red says, Mike, everything is safe. Don't you worry. There is no danger here.
Call help! Call help!
Red said, we don't want you to end up in Randy's stomach tomorrow.
Scrambled Mike and eggs.
Yeah. You wait, I cook Mike's brains tomorrow morning. Lotus said, Mike is tied up in the corner. That's the reason I'll just I won't leave it over there very much. He's tried to wave, but his hands is tied. All right, everybody, before y'all find out the truth here and find out Mike's all tied up over here, I might better sign off. I still got to make a video. Mike, if Randy starts seasoning, you run. It's okay, now you're scaring me.
He talked about battery.
Let's see. No, Lotus, we will pit that steak rib mac. And the fat tastes good. Mike said he talked about battering me. Let's see. But anyway, y'all have a good day, good night whenever you're watching this. I appreciate everybody coming in and spending the last 2 hours with me. And blink if you're okay. I'm fine. Thank y'all. Y'all have a good night. And remember, keep it silly.